You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, it's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Californication After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another Californication Season 6, Episode 3, episode Dead Rock Stars. I'm your host, Phil Svitek, joined alongside not Chrisley Kennedy, but
Stephen Lemieux. Hello. Nice to be here, Phil.
Stephen will be joining us henceforth, and Chrisley will as well. She did not get replaced. Very exciting episode tonight.
Pretty gay episode to start out with.
Pretty gay. Strange word to use, especially when you're talking about a funeral, but nevertheless fun.
Exactly.
But let's start with the gay aspect of everything. Runkle, we knew this was going to a hilarious path, and there it has.
Gay Mafia ruling again, bringing him on board. So, of course, our first scene with Runkle is him watching gay porn.
Here's the thing. I think it only makes sense. You got to test yourself whether or not you actually get an erection while watching gay porn. The funny thing would have been if he did, but he did not.
He did not. And, well, that's his inner monologue, so of course he did not. But it's just it's funny to see his character with the porn evolution that he's been going through. All the crazy shit he's been watching on porn videos that he's been trying to try, like he tried to try with, I think her name was Stacy, Daisy. No, not Daisy, the nanny.
He's had so many of these.
Yeah, exactly. He was trying to try so much, and like the first thing was like finger banging her right when he met her, that kind of stuff. But it's funny, all this stuff, all the porn that he's watched, and gay porn's the stuff that he hasn't watched, which is, I thought Runkle would have been a little bit more. I mean, what do we have? Come on, Hank. Everyone has a gay story or two.
That is true. Hey, there you go. But luckily, he's never really thought of himself as gay, and the fact that everyone now is just embracing, like, hey, nice job coming out of the closet. We knew you were. You knew you were there.
It's the emotional men who are always gay.
That's right.
And that's Runkle.
So, what I love is the app. By the way,
Grindr. Have you heard of that before?
I have not heard of that. I hope there's a straight version.
I hope so too. This is my imitation of Evan Hansen. Yes, I hope there is one too, Hank. No, seriously, there's so many shows right now that are featuring Grindr and what it is. They did it in Don't Trust the Bee. They did it in Happy Endings. All sorts of things.
So it's a real thing.
It's an absolutely real thing. It uses GPS and basically puts out a beacon that you are gay, and people can find you.
Okay.
You use a picture, all that stuff. I know more about it than I should.
Interesting. What's funny is that obviously the fact that someone responded and right away, and Robbie obviously is all for this. Runkle, I feel like, should have put up a little bit more fight. Like, hey, I'm a professional. This is a business meeting. I want you to know that my sexual urges will never get in the way of my business.
I've already jacked it once today. I think I'm good till after lunch.
You could just tell. I think what I love about Evan Handler is every time Runkle is nervous, he goes into the soft-spoken, slow talk as if trying to talk to a child.
No, I just think that it would be inappropriate to have a blowjob at this nice shindig we have here at lunch. No, it's funny that the gay guy came so quickly, and it's also funny that so far, whenever we see him meeting his client, his new client that forced him into homodom, they're in West Hollywood.
Okay.
like the cafe they're at. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm almost 100% sure that was like you drive by it when you're in West Hollywood on Melrose.
And so you're saying there's a lot of gays there?
Well, I'm saying that they're really going in locations and they're going deep into the gay mafia aspect of what this is. Like, of course, everyone knows the gay mafia is the people who are of the homosexual aspect, who control Hollywood, who are the producers, the writers, and executive producers, the people who have the money.
I mean, it's not always the case, but yes, I will agree with you. And they've always been truthful to, as much as they've parodied Holiday, there's always been underlying truth. And yes, West Hollywood is known for its gays, quote unquote.
Gay undertones, yes.
Quote unquote.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's gay, but they just have a lot of those people.
You know, here was
Sorry, I'm too many Runkle
yes.
impersonations this episode.
It's all good, Stephen. For me, what was I would have found it funny because I thought they were propelling him to get his dick sucked, not to suck.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's something Runkle could have gone with. He would have been uncomfortable, but like, you know, I feel like I would have loved to see his expression eventually just enjoying it, like, ooh, this is nice. And like, I don't know, but like, again, you know, I hear lesbians love chowing box because they know how to make themselves orgasm. Maybe a man does the same thing. We need a gay man on the panel, Marissa.
Let's call up Jason Eichler. I'm down. He'd be down with this. He's great. I like the line where they're like, would you rather, Runkle, would you rather beat off or get sucked by a stranger? You make a good point.
Now go in there and get your
there
dick sucked by a stranger. I mean, that's just... I wish I could use those lines.
Yeah.
To my employees, not to strangers.
We need to create the straight version of Grindr. We need to do that.
That needs to happen. Anyway, of course, Runkle, as always, very funny. And obviously we'll continue to take it down the funny route. He escaped it today. Last question for this. Is he going to be gay-mailed by this Asian boy forever?
I thought about that, and I don't think so.
Just the one time? What was the payoff?
Probably $1,000.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly...
You got Runkle by the balls, you go at least $5,000.
He doesn't know who the hell Runkle is.
He knows he's an agent.
He knows he's an agent, but he doesn't know his name. He doesn't know shit.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things.
He knows his Grindr username.
That's true.
Look at that.
I don't know. I think that was just like a one-time character. To bring back that character wouldn't add much to the storyline, and I think they want to delve more into the perils of lying about that when, of course, they're pushing him so far forward. Like, Runkle's don't worry. He can have a second car. He doesn't need the Porsche. He can have a second car. We're giving him a promotion. Really?
Yeah.
Like, they're...
I certainly like that aspect of it, and it's gonna be for me, as you say, you made a good point, like how far they're gonna go into this quote gay culture, because eventually Runkle's gonna need to know these gay cultural things, and you know, it's believable that he's new to all this, so he has to kind of explore on his own. But there's gonna be some things that like they're gonna expect him to know, like what's your favorite gay porn channel?
I just love
something. I don't know.
I love the innocence. I can definitely. I'm not going to go there. I love the innocence of Runkle as he's explaining the situation to the guy who he's supposed to blow. He's just talking, and he's like, "I'm not gay. Oh, you want to play the straight game? No, I'm not gay. There's a client that I had to tell I was gay. So you're exploiting the gay community to further your career." Yes. It's like that's kind of like one of the most fucked up things you can.
It is.
Say to
and Runkle he's again the messed up thing is he's just trying to be endearing in all of this.
Yep, and of course he got walked in by Hank and Faith, walking in on them.
Yes.
Seeing that, but I guess that pretty much ties it up for Runkle. They had nice previews for the next episode with Runkle, but
yes, we'll definitely talk about that because that's coming to a head. No pun intended. All right, let's talk real fast about group therapy. I liked it because Artie Lang was in it, and he was hysterical.
Always playing the fat card. That fat motherfucker.
Hey, they did it good. Hey, get me an In-N-Out burger while you're out.
Hey, man, it was a panic attack, not a heart attack.
I mean, you know, it's just this is what I imagine I mean, here's the thing. It's an upscale therapy place. So, like, a lot of these people are privileged, and I feel like they have those sort of excuses in life.
Well, they're
not that regular alcoholics and addicts don't.
Well, they're also poking a lot of fun. I mean, of course, at the celeb therapy show, like having the whole. What did he say to Faith? He says, "Oh, I wrote it down. I know I wrote it down."
Who did, Artie or are you talking about
Gabe? What Gabe said to Faith.
Oh, you got.
You know what? Do you know what time it is, Phil? It's time to get real. Like, they use stupid crap like that on the show all the time with the celebrities. And then Artie totally reminded me of, like, the old Saturday Night Live skit in this episode when he's talking. "Da Bears." Like, the old stuff, like, "Oh, just a panic attack. No worries, no worries." He was definitely pulling a Chris Farrell character out of his gigantic ass on this episode.
I love Hank just being snobbish to everyone. Like, dude, you have the heart of a 15-year-old overweight kid, maybe.
Obese kid. Love it.
Well, I'm paraphrasing, not quoting. Speaking of Gabe, the actor Patrick
Fischler.
He will be here February 10th.
And that is the next episode, right? Because we're off air next week.
Yes, for the Super Bowl. We get to enjoy the Super Bowl, and then joined by Patrick. So that's going to be fun. Obviously, his character is in this season. I feel like he's going to develop more, and I'm excited to talk to him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I've seen him in other things before, and we'll probably talk about a lot of the projects he's coming up with and talk about how it was like to be the guy that blew Bates. That's a topic.
Indiscretion.
Indiscretion.
A slight, yes. What Hank is referring to is a slight indiscretion of mine.
It was what was it, a month or a week? He said something about it at the beginning of therapy.
One week.
Yeah, 1 week.
It was a week of indiscretion. Or in bad judgment or something like that.
So he tells Faith tells him that the funeral is coming up, and she's not going to go because she's technically the groupie, even though she calls herself the Muse. And he says that is not a good idea, and she should go. And then Artie offers to go with her, but he tells her that she should take Hank, which has "bad idea" written all over it.
It has bad. I mean, it's in that sense, Gabe is very shitty because, again, I like how he admits the fact that, yes, I want you to leave because I don't give a crap about you.
But sending him with Faith, who's like the normal one,
still bad.
No, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, it's even a worse idea. Like, hey, Hank, we have one normal person here. Go fuck her up. Go taint.
I mean, I don't know how normal she is, but in an odd way, yes, I see your point.
Yeah. I mean, she's more normal than the chick who raped him in his sleep.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And put her hand down his crotch.
Oh, that chick. Mm.
Hey.
Good job on the special effect makeup on the teeth and stuff.
But yes, they're out and about. I mean, I'm surprised at these because, usually whenever they go, they have a handler or something like that. I mean, you don't just get dismissed from therapy 2 days in. Or 3 or whatever F it is.
That's true. It was just like a half-assed, the Gabe wanted him out of there. I mean, he admitted to it. It was the cold, hard truth.
I mean, it was. It certainly was. And obviously that leads to a whole big thing. I mean, I just knew it spelled trouble when they didn't get in together.
Yeah.
It's one thing. They were going to cause a lot of trouble regardless, but the fact that now they're split up, bad combination.
Yeah, well, maybe Hank should just learn that blowjobs opens doors.
I love how Hank actually didn't want to get the blowjob, and he knew where it was going. But he's
Hank, man.
Just got one anyway.
You roll with the punches and you take the blows, quite literally.
Yes, you do. And of course, the funny part, he's visiting our friend Ashby,
who's in a statue wearing a kilt.
Yes, well, that's
crazy motherfucker.
That's Ashby for
Love
you.
Him.
And you know what? To Hank's point, as the confrontation happens, that the conversation between Faith and the widow could have been a lot worse.
Well, it could have been. I mean, you learn interesting facts like the bulldog's name's Faith, and she didn't think that Faith was the Muse, and then the guys walk by and like, hey, Faith, and that's when shit gets real, and they start exchanging blows, and I forgot what was said, but it was funny to see her ass just hanging out like she's a complete wreck. Drunken,
That's what you were looking at.
Drunken mess of a widow right there.
And you know what? It's funny too. Brits, you're gonna take a lot of offense to this, but drunk Brit women are just that obnoxious. They really are. Just loud, rude, and some of them sound like guys.
I feel like
or have husky voices at the very least.
I might take some flack for this too, but I was totally seeing her character written after Sharon Osbourne.
Okay.
Totally. Like I was seeing a drunk Sharon Osbourne blowing Hank Moody and getting in a bitch fight with a groupie.
That's I could see that. That's good point. I mean,
I love the what was the guy named? Krull?
Who? Which guy?
The guy who actually got her in. Krull.
Oh, I forget his name.
But like Hank, he won't shake Hank's hand, and even later, like Hank's like, yeah, and he just doesn't even.
Well, because it's funny because he's looked by him as a civilian, and I mean the music culture as we've come to certainly see in these seasons, and also just from my life in general, like there's, I mean, just take a look at Almost Famous and all that. Musicians are weird.
Musicians are pretty cool, man.
They are. No, they are, but they're certainly weird. And as, I mean, it'd be funny to think of Hank as a civilian in that world because, he leads a effed up life himself. He's an author, he's creative, and yet he still doesn't necessarily fit into this culture.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, you don't walk up to a musician and just be like that. You'd be like, oh, man. Like, we actually met it was actually pretty cool because my mom was in town for a few days. Yeah. Go to Mel's on Ventura, the classic place to go. And Vinny and his brother, Appice, I think it is, Appiace, they were the drummers for like Dio and Black Sabbath back from like 82 to 84 and stuff. And they were sitting right behind us. And I was just like, hey, Mom, I can't spot who it is, but I know that there's somebody. So I leave and she gets pictures and everything with him. And she had met the same guy 30 years prior, the same way.
Wow.
It's crazy. But musicians are always nice guys.
They are. I mean, where they just get, it seems like they're obviously their interpretation, at least on this show, is that they get just emotional. I mean, think of Russell in Get Him to the Greek. Russell Brand.
Yeah, it's just
it's that kind of thing.
That is the Atticus Fetch character. Whenever he acts like Russell Brand from Get Him to the Greek, and every time I see him like on the piano, like singing and stuff, I was like, I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the heart. Like he sings like he's like the darkness. The darkness.
Okay, I see that.
Totally love the darkness, but he's got that same British hairband vibe with the totally high-pitched voice. The writers are very talented in this show at creating characters that what's the word I'm looking for?
They emulate and parody at the same time.
Yeah, like the parody. There's another word for parody.
Marissa, what's another word for parody?
Satire.
Satire, yeah. They create a
Well, that's not a verb, but sure.
Well, that's what I meant. They create a satire of a character based on like several different people, and they put it all into one character successfully. Yeah. Like Ashby was, of course, Gene Simmons mixed with a lot of other people, and then we have this guy who, of course, we see like the Russell Brand. We see that. I mean, most celebrities that they create in this show, you can pinpoint at least probably 2 or 3 people that they are taking from and putting them into that person.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm liking Atticus. Atticus is probably going to be another. I don't think he'll die by the end of the season like Ashby, and they're not going to pull the one-trick pony again. But,
well, it's in terms of this storyline, what's nice is that it's coming to a head. Obviously we know from what the people are saying, and Tom Capinos, the creator, Hank and Atticus are gonna team up, and they're gonna write this musical. And it's nice that Hank is, quote, finding faith through the real faith, and as he says later on in the scene with her by the pool, I need to get my ass into a chair and write. And Atticus is this vehicle.
I had the prediction. I'm just like, Hank is going to write with Faith as his muse.
Yeah.
because like she is building herself up as the muse, says she's the muse. Things have been written after her, and now she's kind of the one who has taken Hank and kind of brought him down to the earth, and brought him off his binge. There's a really good solemn line in this episode where she's talking and she's like, where he talks about you need a drink or something. And she's like, no, this is one of those nights where you need to feel everything.
Yeah.
This was right after the funeral, and of course we have that amazing hologram guitar solo and stuff. But I mean, that's like, you need to feel everything. That kind of seems, it's like a hit line to him where it's like, you need to realize what crazy bitch did, suicide, and she's gone now, but you got to realize it and just get the fuck over it.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's also interesting in terms of that Atticus thing, he says, hey, my early work was good. He's still trying to convince him that his work was good. And to a degree, Hank always looked at his work as honestly good, but maybe his earlier stuff he was proud of, and then it certainly got tainted as it got Hollywood, became movies and stuff like that. So what's going to be nice is, through the combination of this triangle, they're going to create and elevate each other, for creative purposes.
Well, it's kind of funny because you see Hank's the writer that is like, nobody really, like, people know who he is, but he's just kind of like out there. Then you have Atticus, who everybody know who he is. He's a famous musician, everything. And Hank doesn't give a crap whether Atticus likes him or not. Atticus just respects him and wants him to like his work, which kind of like when somebody you respect doesn't like what you do, it's like you want to prove yourself to him. So it kind of like it pulls him in even more. Like when he told him to go F himself after throwing up on the cocaine and stuff, when he saw him at the funeral, he didn't beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Because he says, I still think you're a cool guy. I think you're a great writer. I like your stuff. We still want to work together. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see well-grounded characters like that.
After party. Well,
we'll do the funeral real quick because we do have the nice Faith and the rock and roll Faith and what's her face making out and everything.
The widow. I mean, the widow is just effed.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's
cliche, but
funny nonetheless. And just seeing Faith's reaction and all this, and that's what made it funny. And it just take it into the absurdness of the holograms and all that. That's what made it funny for me, and especially saying like, hey, if you guys are watching this, it probably means I died an untimely death.
Yeah. I mean, and he's taking the necklace off, and it like doesn't just come off. He's like,
well, you gotta yank it. Yeah.
He like yanks and kisses at the same time. He's like, "Hey, mate, if anyone's gonna be kissing me bloke, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Not you, not some random." I wasn't gonna say the word.
And you know what? You made a good point about that. What's nice is that, hey, while this guy is dead, at least the one thing that keeps Faith going was this necklace, and now she at least has that. Maybe not from him necessarily, but at least off of him, and the symbolic thing is given to her by Hank. So he's helped her. She's gonna help him. It's gonna be great. Yeah, they're gonna be together for a while. So the after party, of course. Well, before we get to that, I want to tell all of our fans, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in every week. We hope that you continue. We hope that you tell a friend, and we hope that you go on iTunes, rate and comment. Now, I do have a beef to pick because last week, I forget who it was, but you guys said I'm not, that Chrisley and I weren't passionate about the show. I went on a 5-minute rant, screaming. Is that not passion, people?
A 5-minute rant's not passion, man. 5-minute rant's just a rant.
Well, they said that, I don't know. So I don't know who it was, or if some of you guys think this, that our voices were monotone. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will certainly try to work for that. I'm sorry that some of you guys feel that way, but I certainly love this show. I love talking about the show, and whatever I got to do to improve to make you guys believe, I will try to do.
And hopefully, I'll bring some pizzazz to the show.
That's Stephen, of course.
Yeah, of course. I'm the annoying guy.
And if nothing else, hey, maybe I'll just let Patrick talk for an hour.
Patrick? Oh, yeah.
Our guest.
Our guest.
Hey, maybe that's what you guys want. Maybe I'll do that.
Maybe.
Let us know. Go and rate and comment. But the after party, just trouble from the get-go.
Maybe we should drink during Californication and then do the show.
I've tried that sometimes. Maybe, we'll get there.
Maybe we should drink more during Californication.
We'll get there.
And perhaps we can hit up some of like the strippers or something from the show to be guests. And they don't even have to talk. They can just like stand there.
Our video views would go up.
Our video views would go up, and we'd be in a better mood doing this show. I mean, we'd be in a good place, because even after the show, we can have the after show after party. We can have the pre-game Californication pre-show after party, and then we can have the after show during game after pre-game after show after party.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Just cut off his mic for a sec. Anyway, thank you guys for bearing with Stephen. All right. Well, in terms of that's exactly what happens with their after party. We will have our assholes licked by angels and snort coke.
Yes. I discovered a new term for coke snorting.
What's that?
It's called "There She Blows," and it's when you put cocaine on a girl's anus and have her fart in your face.
I am not even going to ask how you found this out.
Don't.
I don't want to know.
I thought it was relevant, though.
It was relevant. Thank you. You have made us all the wiser. All right. So Karen comes. There's Atticus nude. Obviously, Chrisley and I, at the very least, we predicted that this would be a predicament. And they didn't take it to the level that I thought they could have. Them kicking Hank.
Yeah,
it was because it was funny how they were fueling each other on, and Atticus was like, "I don't think he meant it as a compliment." They would have, they could have definitely kicked him a lot more.
What did he say? Did you write down the quote?
Who did who say?
What Hank said about the song?
It was like it's
like a baby barfing or something like that.
Yeah, and a hyena screaming or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Certainly nothing you would want to use when talking about a work. In a positive light.
Yeah, unless
you have a messed up mind of what's positive.
Unless it's like Marilyn Manson's like, oh, this is what it sounds like, It's like, oh, thanks, man. No, but yeah, they play the whole kicking game. He's a big fan. When Karen's like, oh, come in, you're a big fan, and obviously I'm a big fan of your work too. And he's just like, no, she's hot, so he wants her in. And then, of course, she finds Hank. They kick him, and then Hank has this nice, like, I was having a great dream. You turned into a movie. You turned into a mermaid.
Now, don't undermine this speech, because this was a very key speech. As effed up and as disappointed as Karen was, and it was great about that scene was that Atticus was trying to just, he's just having a
cocaine
delusion, yeah, something like that, But it's, again, if you listen to the words, it was interesting what he said, and don't think that didn't go in Karen's mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's, he said, I was having a dream where we were on the beach being married by God, and you turned into a mermaid, and I couldn't find your vagina.
I mean, except for the last part, that's a pretty romantic gesture.
Yeah.
So,
I guess. I mean, it was good. I definitely don't have any more notes, though.
I mean, it's just in terms of Karen, she's just obviously Hank just continues to be disappointing, and what sucks is this is where it could get really interesting. Is at the end of the day, it's not Hank's fault that he was out of rehab. We knew he wasn't strong enough to do this. He says, Gabe says to him, I hope for at least one day you can go without a drink, at a funeral or whatever. And Hank says, I certainly cannot.
Well, he did. He went for a whole day, and then it was nighttime.
Okay. Well,
I mean, he certainly didn't go for a whole day without getting blown. I mean, we got widow behind the bush, but I mean, he didn't drink at the funeral.
But it's not, again, at the end of the day, he's supposed to be getting support, and so technically
it was Gabe's fault for sending him out there.
That's right. He was released on those terms, and I think there could be something to that. Perhaps.
Maybe. I don't know. We didn't see any of the boyfriend. We didn't see any of the daughter this episode at all.
Yeah, it was It was different.
Kept to itself, kept to the storylines at hand.
So with that, why don't we get into predictions and predict what's going to happen in 2 weeks? Because
Now, your AfterBuzz TV
predictions.
okay, so we got 2 weeks because of the Super Bowl. Usually they don't care about the Super Bowl, but this year we do. We've wised up.
I don't really care. Sorry.
Fair enough. No way they want to compete against the Super
What is it,
Bowl.
49ers Ravens?
I don't. Who cares?
God damn it, Phil.
Just trying to make you sound ignorant. All right. My prediction is that this will, in fact, Karen will get mad at Gabe, and somehow that's how we're gonna explode kind of his storyline for maybe a little bit. Obviously, the big thing is gonna be with Robbie and Runkle, because Runkle's got to suck dick.
Runkle's got to suck dick. Well, I think his boss wants to fuck him.
That is also true.
Like, every time you see his boss, like, give him eyes, he's giving him, like, the eyes. Hooked him up on Grindr. Like, I can't imagine how many more, like, inside, like, you wouldn't know, like, inside Hollywood things that they're going to pull out of their ass, no pun intended, with the whole gay mafia thing. Because they're really being clever with it. And I do like it. Like, when I first watched the first 3 seasons of this show, I didn't live in California. I lived in North Carolina. I didn't get half the humor. So rewatching it all like 2 weeks ago, it's 10 times more funnier. So like, if there's so much humor for normal people, but when you live here, when you understand the industry, I'm on the floor like half the time watching these shows. But prediction wise, I don't know. I don't really want to make any predictions right now. It's a little bit too early in the season to do anything. I just think that Hank is either going to fuck up the musical fairly soundly, and he'll probably write another book about faith.
Well, where do you stand on Becca being a writer? Because I haven't had this conversation with you yet, Stephen.
The Becca being a writer thing?
Yes.
I think too many freaking people want to be a writer in this show.
Who else wants to be a writer?
We got Becca. We got Becca's girlfriend. We got Faith.
Becca's girlfriend?
Becca's boyfriend.
Well, he's out of this show.
Is he? He's not coming back?
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean,
I highly doubt so.
They didn't really leave him off that like he's gone forever.
I would venture to say. Anyway,
He's signed by Runkle, man.
yeah, but not anymore. Not anymore.
I guess Apocalypse kind of dealt with that.
Uncle's a gagent.
He is a gagent.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening yet again. Stephen, where can we find you in case the people want to talk with you off the air, but online?
You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, or you can find me here on AfterBuzz, usually behind the booth doing the stuff.
Yes, and of course follow us at AfterBuzz TV. Keep listening to this after show and hopefully many other after shows. I know for one, Marissa, our engineer tonight, is on Once Upon a Time, Glee. I don't know if there's a huge crossover, but if there is, for any reason, go check it out. We'll see you here in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.